So I'm currently on a little solo trip in Banff, Canada. I'm whispering because the walls are kind of thin in this hotel. I really like it. You can probably hear the heat's on right now too because I'm freezing. Yeah, I thought I'd provide a little journal entry because last time I traveled alone, I did that. I feel like I'm always most reflective when I'm traveling by myself. It's usually when I journal the most as well and feel like I'm really, digging through and processing thoughts that I've had lately. So one of those things that I've noted down that has been on my mind lately, and I think it's on my mind even more as I travel alone, is this question that I used to always ask myself, which is, how do you effectively overcome being an introvert? Like, I used to think it was something you had to overcome. The world makes you feel like you need to be more extroverted. I feel like the world rewards extroversion, especially in the workplace. I would see people who have really big personalities. They're very charismatic, and it's obviously very easy to like them, and they move forward in life in a way that just seems easier. And I'm always someone who has found exerting energy socially to really just take a lot out of me. And I used to think that was like an issue that I had to fix. I'm 27, turning 28 soon. And the longer I've been around doing my own thing, I realized introversion is not something that you need to overcome. There's a lot of beautiful things that come out of being an introvert. I think a lot of my friends that are introverted like me are usually the ones that are very creative as well. And that creativity really blossoms when you're by yourself. And I think that's when some of your best work comes out. So for myself, I think all the times I spent alone from childhood to now, those hobbies, whether it was getting into photography, filming myself, now ending up on YouTube, creating websites for fun. I used to create PowerPoints for fun, just even painting digitally. Like, those little things that I got into as a kid have now evolved into what I do full time, running my design business. And I don't think I would have potentially, at least I don't know if I would have dived so deeply into these interests if I'd been more extroverted. I mean, it's hard to tell. I think I probably would have done more team-related hobbies. I love solo activities and I love solo travel for that exact reason. So yeah, I've just been thinking lately how I no longer ask myself, how do I effectively overcome being an introvert? It's more, okay, I've accepted that I'm an introvert, but there are some things that I can do in terms of social anxiety or I guess social awkwardness that I think are actually separate from introversion. They're like a whole other thing that I think even extroverts can feel socially awkward or have social anxiety. And I think now I'm leaning more into figuring out, okay, those are something that I also deal with. What are some things that I can do to work on that while embracing being an introvert? Oh, and I also wanted to say, I think another tip to get comfortable with being an introvert, and I think coming to this conclusion that you don't need to be extroverted, is to do more solo travel, to do things more independently, and to realize that being an introvert doesn't hold you back in life. Okay, so on the note of social anxiety and social awkwardness, one thing that I think is really important is to understand that perhaps there's a reason for why you struggle more socially. And I don't want to call it trauma, but I feel like life circumstances from the past sometimes explain why you are the way you are today. So, for example, I think me moving around a lot as a kid and not always quite figuring out how to fit into the next group, the next school, that leads me to overthink it more as an adult now. And I think that has led to probably heighten my social awkwardness at times. Some people can't see it in me at all, but I think I'm always thinking about it. And I think probably because of my past, that might be a big reason why. So some of the tips that I've realized have helped me and I want to continue working on for at least improving the aspects of, feeling more socially awkward or having a bit more anxiety with social situations is, and these are kind of surface level tips, so take them with a grain of salt. I just do believe they truly help, is one, to try to spend more effort on physical appearance. So what I mean by that is try to be well dressed, comb your hair, allow yourself to be comfortable and presentable in the eyes of others, because I do think that lifts some self-pressure by feeling like you look okay and comfortable to others. It's more like an inner confidence thing that you feel when you know you've done the best you can externally. This one's an extremely surface level one, but I think it helps to try be in the best shape you can, try be fit. I think, and this again sounds awful, but it's easier to blend in when you're just, a fit, physically capable human. And I know some people have more advantages in that area than others just based on how they were born or their metabolism or whatnot. But I think, again, it's an inner confidence when you know you've done the best you can with that as well. My other advice is also to move a bit out of your comfort zone. You can do it like a tiny bit at a time, or you can go for big solo trips. But even just having more social interactions throughout your week, whether you're saying hi to someone at the grocery store, smiling at people on the street, you kind of tell your brain to be more comfortable with just random social situations situations with others. And my other and last tip is, once you get more comfortable with that, is to start asking people questions, and questions that you're genuinely curious about. Like, don't hold back. Ask them questions, show interest. I think a lot of people appreciate when you show genuine curiosity as well, and really try to have those conversations with strangers or different people and break out of that social awkwardness that you feel. I think just by being well dressed, taking care of yourself, making the social effort out in public, those are the days you give yourself confidence. And even if you don't interact with others those days, you just have confidence to also even just be more comfortable being alone in public as well. And my final thought is one that I think about all the time, and that is that the ultimate freedom, though, is just to not care at all anymore. To not care at all about awkwardness or anything, and just set your mind free. And I think you only live for you. Nobody else really matters. Yes, your family, your friends, everyone matters to you in some way, but like truly at the end of the day, you only have yourself. And by doing things like going on solo trips, I think you tell yourself that. And I think telling yourself that helps you get to a point where you stop caring. I'm definitely not there yet, but I think I've come a long, long way. And I think it also helps when you're outside of situations like high school was the worst. Oh my gosh, because you're in this unnatural situation where you're surrounded by your peers and your age group all the time. Work is not like that. You're not surrounded by that many people at all times of the day. You get more time to yourself. I find in corporate, at least for the work I did, and now that I work for myself, I get so much time alone and I'm so much happier. High school is a tough place for people who are more introverted or more socially awkward, but that is not a reflection of how life will be after. Some workplaces maybe, but I think, like I said, lean into the strength that you get from introversion instead of trying to change yourself. And again, the ultimate freedom is just not caring at all. And I think that really helps in terms of social anxiety and social awkwardness. If you just stop caring what people think, then you have nothing to worry about. Nothing will be on your mind. So if you're someone who's introverted, if you're someone who struggles with social anxiety or social awkwardness, again, those can be all separate things. My tip to you is to try those ideas, and then also to take yourself on a solo trip. And me, I'm in Banff right now. It's not far from my hometown. I'm very lucky that I live near Banff because it's so beautiful with the mountains. But even if you just take a little road trip to a little town near your place, I think just push yourself out of your comfort zone a little bit more and allow yourself to also enjoy doing things alone too if you are more introverted. I think there's a lot of power in learning to get really comfortable doing things alone as well, because you never wait around for other people to do things with you either. And I love these trips because I curate everything to the way I want it. I pick the hotel room I want. I go get the food I want, whether it's McDonald's or a fancy restaurant. I spend as much time as I want in the hotel or in a cafe doing my work. There's a lot of freedom that comes with loving doing things alone, and then also being more comfortable doing bigger and bigger things alone as well. So I really, really recommend solo trips to everyone as well, introvert or extrovert. I just know for some of us who are perhaps a little bit more socially shy, trips can feel kind of big, but the more you do them, the less big they feel. There's just a lot of benefits to solo traveling as well, and I could make a whole video on that if you guys want to hear more of my thoughts on that. But really, that's all I have for you guys today. I really hope you're having a wonderful week wherever you are in the world, and I will talk to you all in my next video very, very soon. Bye, friends.